I got to show you something real quick. I get an email from the synagogue here. This is a joke. I love their jokes. Can you see that? Woo, I just created a 24-hour period of alternating lightness and darkness on earth. Well, what are you going to do now, God? Call it a day.
Call it a day.
Another one, I see, I started this. See that picture? That's supposed to be a picture of Jesus riding in on his right horse. And I can't find the book. I've got a book of Revelation Illustrated. I know that's what it's called. I can't, it's somewhere in this mess.
I understand.
But it's really cool. If you ever get a chance to look at it, it's really cool. Okay, how much did you all do this week?
I couldn't do anything.
You all don't read my emails, do you?
Yeah.
No, I do. I saw them, but I
Did you
couldn't
said we're
print them.
driving the conversation this week?
Yeah, I did. And it's a good thing I said that because I've been sick since yesterday.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah, it's just whenever. I thought it was allergies, but then last night it was other things. So like, but I did want to share something with you. So what I'll do is we'll figure out how to do this. Share screen. Where did I put it? I'll just go to screen, okay. So this is has everybody heard of Austin Precept Option?
Austin.
Austin?
Yes.
This is their website. Now, that is hard to read. There it is. There's the end times. Okay, got it? I mean, from creation all the way to the new heavens and the new earth. Realize when it talks about new heavens and new earth, it's recreated, it's remade. How would it, does anybody know how it gets remade? Because the Bible does tell us.
This one burns up.
Exactly.
Fire this time.
Yeah, it's by fire. It's not by flood. It's by fire, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So what would you imagine could create a fire throughout the whole earth?
Immediate.
Nuclear power.
They're yelling, "Come quickly, Lord Jesus."
I think nuclear power.
Yeah, I think a nuclear war would kick it off pretty well, don't you? But I really like this website. If I can get out of it. Can't get out of it. We're stuck here forever. You can come down here and you see each chapter from Revelation 4 through 22, one happens. And this is actually how you outline kind of your when, where, how, who, and all that sort of stuff. Where it's at is this first earth and heaven, heaven and earth, earth and heaven, heaven, earth, earth. And you can just go down here and this gives you a really good overview. That one sheet of paper that I sent you also has all the seals and the trumpets and the bowls. It's kind of like that, but it includes a lot more stuff, okay? You have woes in there. Does anybody remember what the woes are for? What does woe mean?
Sorrow.
Yeah, great sorrow, right? It's going to be great sorrow. And you have the angels and you have these, I wish I had that book. I should have found it. But it has all this information. It has hallelujahs in it. It tells you about different people, tells you the interludes and stuff that I talked about before. But when it gets down to the ending, the 20, 21, and 22, It says, until the 1,000 years is complete, after these things, Satan will be released for a short time. Then John saw that judgment was given to those on the thrones. If you remember right, there's 24 elders on those thrones in heaven. What do they say that the general conception is, who they represent? Does anybody know?
They were
Yes.
Martyrs.
Well,
no, they were Israel coming back to witness.
the 24 elders? There's 12 on one side and 12 on the other side.
The 12 apostles and the 12 tribes of Israel.
There you go. Got
Uh,
that?
Uh-huh.
So when they're talking about elders, generally speaking, in Revelation, they're talking about that. Now, Beth said something about there's going to be, the whole world is going to be evangelized, that everyone's going to hear about Christ, correct?
Mhm. Yes.
Who is going to be the main characters to spread that word?
They're angelic.
Any other guesses?
Isn't it the reserved 12 that are is it 120?
144,000.
44,000. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jews,
12,000 of each tribe, of the 12 tribes.
Right.
even the ones that the lost tribes.
Well, yeah, there's controversy about Dan and stuff. But there's 12 tribes. There's 12 tribes who are the 12 tribes made from? If you took Genesis, you should know this right off the tip of your tongue.
12 sons of Jacob.
Jacob, good. Yeah. I've had people say Abraham. I go, no, he didn't have that many kids.
Uh-uh.
But, yeah. It's a lot of worship. Here you have the bowls. Let's see here. Bowl number 5. Pain and darkness. They blaspheme God. Even when they know that God is judging them, they will still blaspheme God. Doesn't that kill you?
Mhm.
But there's always the worship, the 4 hallelujahs. Blessed are those who are invited to the marriage supper of the Lamb. When we have communion at church, that is a statement that the priest always says just before communion. And I just sat there and I got it. I mean, after all these, 60 some years that I've been around this stuff, I finally got it that when we have communion, that is being invited to the Lord's Supper. Isn't that neat to think of?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I enjoy having it every week. When you look at this, let's see, where did I find that? No, it wasn't there.
Where can we get this, Janice?
I sent the link to you, but I'll send it
okay.
again. Yeah. No, that's not it. Yeah. How do I get back over there?
Mhm.
What do you mean you don't know? I know I was over here. Millennial reign of Christ. This is a good place to go when you want to see the premillennium, the postmillennium, and the amillennium. I found this interesting because, in fairness, it should be acknowledged that there are many good and godly people who disagree with the literal interpretation of Revelation 20, which leaves a non-literal interpretation as their only option. And this goes into the amillennium. Ben and I were talking, okay, because in these chapters, there's this big cube. This is supposed to be heaven, when heaven comes down to earth, but it's so big it couldn't fit on earth, okay? So what do you think that might mean? Do you think it's literal, or do you think it has a meaning to it instead? Don't know, do we?
Ask your question again.
Do you think that this cube, which is like 1,500,000 square miles by 15,000 square miles, it couldn't fit on Earth, okay? Do you think it has it's a literal meaning, or do you think it's theology? What would you call that?
Well, God's been pretty literal about the ark and its dimensions, and other times he mentions dimensions.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's hard to tell, isn't it?
It really is. Could be the world recreated.
Yeah, it could be, because it says, no more sea. Well, also when you're reading and you're studying Revelation and Daniel and all that, what does sea represent? And this is all through, yeah, it represents people.
People.
Yeah. So there's no more, I guess, human beings. I don't know. What do you think? And I don't have an answer to this, so don't think I'm like wise and stuff, because I'm not that wise. I ask for wisdom, but I don't always get it.
Personally, I've always found it a little bit easier to take things literally when God is speaking his word. It just generally works better if you take it literally and don't try to outguess God. My brain is nowhere near what his is.
Yeah, I'm not that
Yeah.
smart, that's why.
If you set
Yeah,
it up,
what comes to my
It's
mind is
for the-
Deuteronomy 29:29,
Which is what?
which is that God reveals when he wants to reveal and keep
see-
secret the stuff he wants to keep secret.
Pretty much. Like
But,
I said,
you
my
know-
brain is nowhere near his.
Pardon me?
I said, my brain is nowhere near his. My peanut brain cannot fathom the mind of God. That's just stupid on my part to say I'm as big as God is. I mean, that just is, and people do it all the time. They put themselves above God. It was a lesson he taught me. Excuse me. I didn't learn this by myself.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why, when I say some have claimed the belief that the literal millennium is a product of 20th century evangelical interpretation, but there is ample evidence that this view was also held by early church. One source records that, okay? And this is argued between people that have way more knowledge than we do, okay? It's been argued, all the way through. Ben told me, he goes, now this is a fairly new idea, but then you read something like this and they go, well, it was around, in 240,
Yeah.
So I don't know, what I get down to on this is take it with a grain of salt. It's going to happen. We just don't know exactly how it's all going to work out, do we?
Yeah.
It to happen is fine.
he made the first world, he can certainly make the second.
I like that.
Well, he's gonna renew this earth, Now that one I have studied out, and when you go and study the Greek in it, it's a renewal of this earth. Remember, he flooded the first time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my husband just went somewhere. Uh-oh, that's scary. This Augustine interpreted the 1,000 years literally. However, later he recanted being driven around from the position by the immoderate carnal extremists of some of the advocates, and became to interpret the 1,000 years as not an actual length of time, but as a symbol, which in turn led to the pontification of the teaching that there was no literal 1,000-year reign. Many people in the church, this is what they believe. It's that we as a church, and during a long period of time, teach out who Christ is. I feel sorry for the people that don't believe in him.
Oh, absolutely.
When Kay says, Beth, excuse me, we all know people that aren't going to make it. What does the Bible say about how many people's going to make it?
Remnant.
Very few.
Mhm. Because the way is narrow.
It is narrow.
Mhm.
But see this on the left, on the right-hand side? It has
Mhm.
all these different commentaries. When you don't have anything to do,
Sure.
you know, well, yeah, I mean, you could go through that because there's so much. This is my main book, but this is one of my study books on Revelation.
Wow.
Whoa.
Okay, that's just one of them. I got 3 of them.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, many years ago, during summer break from teaching, I always made a habit of reading some books. And one summer I picked up a book on all the prophecies in the Bible. And I could not believe,
That fat, wasn't it?
yeah, but how everything was fulfilled except the last part that we haven't come to yet. And that really solidified my faith.
Mhm.
And I had no idea I was going to have this profound experience reading this book. It was supposed to be light reading, getting my mind off of teaching. And it
Not on
was like,
prophecy, light reading, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have lots of books to read, and I'm looking forward to the day that I have time to actually sit down and read them. I've spent so much money on books, it's ridiculous. What was the biggest thing that you think you got out of this study?
Wow.
More
Well,
knowledge, more understanding.
More
mhm.
understanding?
Yes.
In the New Testament, Jesus talked about the excuse me, the desolation. How is that said? The desolation of
Abomination.
The
abomination.
abomination of desolation?
And I never understood that all these years. And now, and I always knew it went back to Daniel, but again, I didn't understand what that meant. That's what I got out of this. I finally understand what.
It happened once and it's going to happen again, isn't it?
Mhm.
That's a scary part. That's another thing that's really fun to go and look at. Oh, it's the templeinstitute.org, I think is when it is. But you can just Google Temple Institute, because they have pictures of all the articles made up for the temple. They also have an elevator that's not run by electricity. For some reason, they don't think there should be electricity. I don't know how that works. But the whole thinking, the blue dye has finally miraculously came back up. Oh, thank you, Connie. She put the in chat, templeinstitute.org. Yeah. Gosh, I do have some memory left, don't I? Oh, I forgot. I got to mention one thing. Linda's husband passed away this morning.
Oh.
Yeah, she texted me about 6:19 this morning, said he passed away. And I'll let you know when the funeral arrangements are and everything. Lonnie, are you here? Or was it Lisa? Who was studying?
here.
Who
I'm
was
here.
studying? Hi, I see your name now. Who said they were studying the Psalms?
Yeah, I'm on my last day. I have a Bible study right after we finish this one. It has been mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling. I will never do this again if I can help it.
Well,
But
supposedly they're working on the rest of Psalms and they're working on Proverbs.
it was absolutely worth it. It absolutely, I have just, I never knew, I mean, I've spent time in Psalms because it's a daily thing, because it deals with all your emotions and all your, it helps, you get, as far as I'm concerned, Psalms get you closer to God. But studying
I
it
have
like
such trouble understanding it. I have
Oh.
friends that can just get it like this and
Oh.
apply it to life, and I'm going, how'd you
I-
pull that out of there?
as much as I have read it, I mean, I've never actually studied Psalms, and this has been absolutely magnificent. I highly recommend it, even though it's like taking a drink from a fire hydrant. It really was. It was,
Ah!
you know, it was. But even with that much information coming at you, just the minute, obviously I'm going to do it again and again and again because it's worth it. It really is. It really is.
Well, we did, was it last summer? We did Pam Gillespie's Psalm 119.
Yes.
Yeah, that was just one psalm.
Yeah.
Of course, it's the longest one in the book, but
Of course, you know, you have to understand that anytime you study scripture, there are always depths to it that you haven't gotten. They're layers. And so I don't even think I've scratched the surface on this, but it has been, I've learned so much. And it has increased between Daniel and Revelation and Psalms. It has seriously, it has increased my reverence for the magnificence of God, just the absolute magnificence of it.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
who did you study Revelation under, Lisa?
it was precepts. I did it with my church.
Oh, with your church,
I've done
okay.
I've done it 3 times. No, twice. Well, I may have done it 3. I know I've done it twice with 2 different teachers here locally.
Okay.
It's been years though. It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, if you do the precepts, it is really, really good, and you do remember it. Like I can reel off things, and it's like, how do I remember that?
Yeah, well, that's why I really, really appreciated Beth saying, okay, go over this test again. Do it again. Do it again until you get 100% and then do it again in 6 months. Yeah. I thought, yeah, that's why I did Revelation the second time, you know, because you don't get it all at once.
Yeah, and somebody, was it Kelly? I can't remember. Somebody sent me. Okay, Robin, we'll see you later. A movie on the churches. It was on the 7 churches, which is interesting, but I didn't send it out to y'all because I didn't think we didn't study the churches. But the first part of Revelation in the precept study is on the churches, the 7 churches. And then you have like an overview, and then you start digging into the details. And it's very long, and it's really hard. And you have to do everything in pencil because you're going to erase a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was, the reason I like to do it digitally, when I was going over Revelation for this study, I found notes that I'd totally forgotten about on my digital Bible that I took a course. Kate taught Revelations on TV once a week about 8 or 10 years ago. I watched and studied with her that way. It was really cool. So if you study with different people, I think it's really good too.
Well, but going over it again, it's like, it's about time for me to do Revelation again.
Good for you.
Because it's like, I've done, you know, it's been 5 years probably or more. And you learn more every time you go back into the word. You just do.
Yeah, you do.
years ago, Barbara taught it.
Yeah, Barbara taught it. Oh, but I bet she was hard. She can reel off, man, she can reel off those. You can't write. It's like listening to Kate. You can't write it down fast enough.
Absolutely.
Right?
Which is why I like having a video so I can go back over it again. I got the Beth Moore studies simply so I could listen to them a second time or a third time.
Yeah, that's why, you know, sometimes I just watch them. Yeah, because you catch something different every time.
Yeah, if you do that study on the grandparenting, on intentional Christian grandparenting, I have a DVD that goes with it. And it was really good. I got stuff out of that I didn't get elsewise.
Well, is that the sessions, or because I bought the one that was $5? Is on this one?
Yeah, I can't remember, but I got the DVD and the Grandparenting
From who?
Matters book.
Who?
It's Legacy Coalition dot, I think it's
Yeah, this is the
.org.
DVD. I just got it. Man, they were fast on shipping too.
Yeah, they were.
Did you put that on the chat?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a Legacy Coalition. You can just Google Grandparenting Matters and it'll come up.
Okay.
But yeah, I bought it too, you know, like I said. And I
I
haven't-
never really thought of this, but I had a situation come up a couple of days ago after I'd done this. My 2-year-old grandson, his bottom of his feet were filthy. So I put him on the table beside me here and I was cleaning his feet and my 8-year-old granddaughter said, Grandma, he needs a bath real bad. And I said, no, he doesn't. He was in the hot tub with me just 2 hours ago. It's just his feet that are dirty. And it reminded me, in my mind, the Spirit put in how the reply of Jesus when one of the disciples said, no, wash not my feet, wash all of me. you know.
Peter did. Yeah.
Peter did. And so it gave me a chance to say to them, see, when we're clean, when we're a Christian, we don't need to ask Jesus to come in over and over. He's always with you. It's just your feet need to be clean. You need to confess when you sin, So it was a really cool thing happened this week.
Yeah.
Oh, that is neat. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
so many little seeds that we can plant in anybody's life, and it's just interesting to see what different people can come up with. Well, I'm sorry I'm not talking much. I just really don't feel well at all. What, Kathy or Laura?
I was just saying, I can tell you don't feel well.
Yeah, I was up most of the night on the stool, and it was, yeah.
Wipes
And
you
it's,
out.
yeah, it does. It just, now I just feel drained. I mean, I've taken enough medicine that I'm all stuffed up from head to toe, but I still don't feel very well. I'm sorry.
Is that from COVID?
No, I think it's just a virus. I'm not running a fever or anything.
Oh,
You know, 2 or 3 times a year I get sick. It's just, I asked Ben though, I said, is there time for the flu shot yet?
Yeah, I haven't heard any numbers on the number of
Well, since we
people
have
that had
COVID, there
flu
is no more.
last year,
Well, no, there
They
is
were
no
all-
more flu. It's all
No,
COVID.
it's all COVID, yeah.
Yeah, I know. This world has gone crazy. Let's pray for our world, y'all. The whole world. We aren't the only country that's having all these problems, and turning away from God is when it really is, and people being deceived. I read an article on the LBG XYZ, the WXYZ, whatever. And it was like they're convincing people that you have to love them where they're at, well, yeah, that's true. But you don't tell them it's okay for what they're doing because it's still sin. The same thing you would say to someone who is a chronic liar, or to a young lady that's moving in with her boyfriend. It's just, there's judgments that come down. What do you think monkeypox is, y'all?
97% of it is active.
90, I think it's closer to 98.8 or something.
I've heard several.
Yeah, and it only flips over because of bisexualism, so it's just follow God's rules, and it's really better, and you're really happier when you do it too, don't you think?
Absolutely. Only way to live.
What, Kathy?
It's the only way to live.
Amen.
Well, and it's like I said, if you live a moral and truthful life, you don't have to worry about lying about it.
Yeah.
It's true.
All right. Well, online on Fridays, we start, I think it's September 2nd. Lost my calendar again. Yeah, September 2nd, we'll start, and we're going to start with doing lesson 1, okay? Local starts April 25th. I put 26th, but that was wrong.
August.
But I do have the workbooks in, but I don't have them combined to put all the stuff together and stuff. So for those who are local, you know,
Yeah.
I got them. I mean, in 2 days, I got them. Can you believe that? Of course,
It starts when locally?
25th, August 25th, the
Oh.
last Thursday of this month.
Is that Mark is starting them?
Mark is studying online on September 2nd.
That's okay.
The reason I have it a week earlier here is for me to hand out the workbooks, and if we have anyone new, I go through the precepts introduction.
Only if we're going to the church.
Yeah, Laura and Kathy, I've ordered your workbook, so I'll have that
Okay.
all together. I think it's $26.
That's what you said.
Is that what I said? Okay, then that's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my mind's just not working real well.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We,
Go ahead, Nancy.
oh, should we have lesson number 1 done?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna close early and I think I'm gonna go back to bed.
Go back to bed.
All names.
We'll be praying for you.
Oh, thank you. It's just, you know, some sort of virus or whatever. There's lots of viruses going around. I know that. Let's see here if I missed any chats. Robin had to leave, Temple Institute. Yeah, that final, yeah, you all look over it. I couldn't answer it right now all the way through. So the final exam. Anyway, well, y'all have a good day, okay?
Thank
I love you all, and I think most of
Love
you are
you.
signed up for Mark, so I will see you then, okay?
Okay, you take care of yourself.
I will. My husband's taking care of me too. Payback
Thank you,
time.
Denise.
Thank you. Hi, Stephen. Yeah, it's my silent man here.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Denise.
Thank you all for being so great at studying. Have a good couple weeks off because that's all
Thank
you're
you.
getting. All right.
Okay, bye.